The door closed behind him, and he was alone. The street was quiet. The sky was turning gray, and a 10-year-old boy stood on the pavement with no phone, no money, and no one beside him. You may have felt this feeling before, that cold, empty feeling in your chest. That moment when you realize no one is coming. This is the story of Maverick, a boy who walked home alone one evening. A simple walk, a short distance. But what happened on that walk changed his family forever. It started like any normal day. School was over. The bell rang. Children laughed and ran to their parents. But Maverick walked to the gate and looked left, then right, then left again. No one was there. He waited 5 minutes, then 10, then 20. Still no one. The other children were gone now. The school gate closed slowly. The guard looked at him once, then looked away. Maverick picked up his school bag. He took a deep breath, and he made a decision. He would walk home alone. It was only 2 kilometers. He knew the road. He had walked it before, but always with someone beside him. This time, he was alone. And somewhere on that road, something was waiting for him. Something no one in his family expected. What did Maverick find on that walk home? And why did his mother cry when she heard the story? Stay with me. This story is just beginning. Maverick was a quiet boy. He was 10 years old. He lived with his mother, his father, and his younger sister, Daisy. He was not the loudest child in school. He was not the fastest, but he was kind. He noticed things other people missed. A bird with a broken wing, a classmate crying alone, a flower growing through a crack in the wall. His mother always said, "Maverick, you have a big heart for a small boy." He smiled when she said that, but inside, he carried something heavy. His father had lost his job 3 months ago. The house was quieter now. His parents spoke in low voices after dinner, and Maverick pretended to sleep, but he listened. He heard words like money and bill and next month. He was only 10, but he understood more than anyone knew. The neighborhood where Maverick lived was old and narrow. The streets were lined with small shops and stone walls. In the morning, it smelled like bread and tea. In the evening, it smelled like dust and cooking oil. Maverick loved his street. He knew every corner. He knew the old man who sat outside the tea shop every afternoon. He knew the woman with the red door who always watered her plants at 5 o'clock. This was his world. Small, familiar, safe. But today, his world felt different. Today, the street seemed longer, the sounds seemed louder, and every face he passed seemed like a stranger. There was one person Maverick always saw on his walk home, if he ever walked alone, an older boy named David. David was 15. He went to a different school. He was tall, and he wore a black jacket, and he never smiled. The other children were afraid of David. They crossed the street when they saw him, but Maverick had never been afraid of him. He did not know why. As Maverick walked, he turned the corner near the old bakery, and there was David, sitting on the steps, alone. His head was down. His shoulders were shaking. Maverick stopped. Was David crying? Maverick stood very still. He watched David for a moment. The older boy did not look up. His hands covered his face. His black jacket was torn at the shoulder. Something was wrong. Every part of Maverick told him to keep walking. Go home. Stay safe. This is not your problem. But his feet did not move. He thought of his mother. She always said, if you see someone hurting, you stop, even if it is hard. Maverick walked forward slowly. He stopped 2 steps away from David. Are you okay? He said. His voice was small, almost a whisper. David looked up fast. His eyes were red. His face was angry. And then, for just 1 second, it was not. Go away, little kid, David said. I just asked if you are okay, Maverick said. David looked at him, long and hard. Why do you care? Maverick did not have an answer. He just shrugged. Because you look sad. David looked away. He said nothing, but he did not tell Maverick to go away again. Maverick sat down on the step, 1 step below David. He put his school bag on his knees. He looked at the road. They sat in silence for almost 2 minutes. Then David spoke. "My mother is sick," he said. His voice was flat, like he had said the words too many times. "They say she might not get better." Maverick felt those words land heavy in his chest. "I am sorry," he said, and he meant it. David rubbed his eyes with his sleeve. "Everyone keeps saying sorry. Sorry does not help." "No," Maverick said quietly. "It does not." Another silence. Then David looked at him. "You are the kid from the blue house, right? Near the school corner." "Yes," Maverick said. "You walk home alone today?" "Yes." David was quiet for a moment. Then he stood up. He pulled his jacket straight. "Come on," he said. "I will walk with you." Maverick looked up, surprised. "You do not have to." "I know," David said. "Come on." And so they walked. The big, quiet boy and the small, kind one. Side by side, down the narrow street. At first, they said nothing. The evening was cooling. The sun was going down behind the buildings. Then David spoke again. "Do you ever feel like you cannot help the people you love?" Maverick thought about his father, about the quiet dinner table, about the words he heard through the wall at night. "Yes," he said. "I feel that." David nodded slowly, like that answer meant something. Wait, this is where everything changes. They were almost at Maverick Street, only one more turn. The old wall with the painted flowers was just ahead, and then they heard it. A scream, high and sharp and sudden. It came from the alley, just ahead, the narrow one between the bread shop and the wall. Both of them stopped. The scream came again. It was a woman's voice, scared and sharp. David moved first. He ran toward the alley. Maverick followed without thinking. In the alley, an old woman was on the ground. She had fallen. Her shopping bag was torn open. Tomatoes and bread were scattered across the wet stones. She was holding her wrist and looking up at them with wide, frightened eyes. "Please," she said. "I cannot get up." David knelt down immediately. "It is okay. We are here." Maverick ran to her other side. He picked up her things quickly and put them back in the bag. His hands were shaking a little. "Can you stand?" David asked her gently. "I think so," she said. "My wrist hurts. I do not know if I can put weight on it."
"We will help you," Maverick said, carefully. Slowly, the two boys helped the old woman to her feet. She leaned on David's arm. She breathed slowly. "Thank you," she whispered. "Thank you, boys. I was so frightened. I called out, but no one came. No one came." Those words hit Maverick hard, like an echo, like a mirror. No one came. He had been the boy waiting at the school gate. No one came for him either. But here, right here, he had come for someone else. The old woman looked at David, then at Maverick.
"You are good boys," she said softly. "Very good boys." David said nothing, but his jaw was tight, and his eyes were bright. Not with anger this time. "With something else! We need to get you home," David said. "Where do you live?" "Just there," she said. "The green door, just at the end." They walked with her slowly, step by step. Maverick carried her bag. David held her arm. At the green door, she stopped. She turned to look at them. "Wait here," she said. She went inside. 1 minute passed, then 2. Then she came back. She held out her hand. In her palm were 2 small coins, old and worn, and a folded piece of paper. "I do not have much," she said. "But take this, both of you, and read that paper." David shook his head. "We do not want money." "I know," she said, and she smiled for the first time. "But take the paper." Maverick took the paper. He looked at David. David nodded. They said goodbye. They walked away. Maverick held the folded paper in his hand. He did not open it yet, but something in his chest told him this paper mattered. This is the dramatic peak. Everything has led to this moment. What was written on that piece of paper? And why would it make Maverick's mother cry that night? They reached the corner of Maverick Street. David stopped.
"This is where I leave you," he said. Maverick looked at him. "Are you going to be okay? About your mother?" David was quiet. The question hung in the air between them. Then he said, "I do not know. But today was different." He paused. "You stopped to ask if I was okay.
Nobody does that.
Maverick did not know what to say, so he said the simplest thing.
I hope she gets better.
David looked at him for a long moment. Then he gave one slow nod. He turned and walked away. His black jacket disappeared around the corner. Maverick stood alone for a second. Then he opened the folded paper. The writing was old and shaky, but the words were clear. Whoever helps a stranger on a hard day, that kindness comes back. Always. Maverick, read it twice. 3 times. He folded it carefully and put it in his shirt pocket, close to his chest. He walked the last 50 meters home. When he opened the front door, his mother was standing in the hall. Her eyes were red. Her phone was in her hand. She had been calling the school, calling neighbors, calling everyone. She had been afraid.
The moment she saw Maverick, she made a sound, not a word, just a sound, and she pulled him into her arms so tight he could not breathe. Maverick, she whispered. Maverick, where were you? I came to school late. The traffic, the car would not start. I was so worried. I am so sorry. He let her hold him. He did not cry. He just stood very still and let his mother hold him. After a long moment, she pulled back. She held his face in both hands. Are you okay? Are you hurt? I am okay, Mama, he said. I walked home. She exhaled, long and slow. You walked alone?
Not the whole way, he said. He told her everything. About waiting at the gate, about David, about the old woman in the alley, about the paper.
He took the paper from his shirt pocket and gave it to her. She read it. Her lips moved with the words. Then she sat down on the hallway chair, and she cried. Not the scared crying from before. This was different crying. Softer, deeper. Mama? Maverick said. He was worried now. She looked up at him. Her eyes were wet, but her face was soft. I cried because I was late, she said. I cried because I failed you today.
You did not fail me,
Maverick said quickly. I was not there, she said. But I was okay, he said. I helped someone, and someone helped me. She looked at him for a long time, like she was seeing him differently, like she was seeing for the first time that her quiet boy was not so small anymore. But the story does not end here. That evening, his father came home. He looked tired, as always. He sat at the dinner table in silence. Maverick's mother told him the story, every detail. His father listened. He did not speak, but his face changed as the story went on. The tiredness slowly left his eyes. Something else came in. When the story was finished, his father looked at Maverick.
You sat with that boy,
he said.
The one no one likes. Yes, Maverick said, and you helped the old woman. David helped her more than me. His father nodded slowly. He reached across the table. He put his large hand over Maverick's small one. Good, he said. Just that word. Good.
But that word from his father, quiet, tired, proud, meant more to Maverick than anything else that day. Little Daisy, who had been listening from her chair, leaned over and whispered to Maverick, Did you really walk the whole way alone?
Most of it, Maverick said. She looked at him with wide eyes, like he was a hero. He was not a hero. He was just a boy who did not look away. And sometimes, that is enough. 3 days later, Maverick saw David again on the street. David was walking fast. He almost passed without stopping. Then he paused. My mother is a little better, he said. The doctors say there is a new treatment. Maverick smiled. That is good news. David almost smiled back. Almost. Yeah, he said. Then he walked on.
That was all! A few words on a street corner. But Maverick felt it, that warmth in the chest that comes when something good happens. Something small and real and true. He reached into his pocket. The paper was still there. Kindness comes back. Always. The door closed behind him, and he was alone. That is where this story began. And now you know what happened inside that walk. Inside that silence. Inside that one evening when a boy chose not to look away. Maverick did not do anything big. He did not save a life. He did not change the world. He just stopped. He sat down. He asked a question. He helped carry a bag. But maybe you know this feeling too. That moment when you are afraid. When no one is coming. When the street feels too long and too quiet. And maybe you also know what it feels like when someone stops for you. When someone asks, "Are you okay?" and they actually mean it. That is the power of small kindness. It is not loud. It does not ask for anything, but it stays. It echoes. It comes back. This story is for every person who has ever waited at the gate alone, and for every person who has ever chosen to stop, even when it was easier to walk on. If this story touched your heart, I would love for you to subscribe to this channel. Every week, I share real-life stories just like this one, told slowly, clearly, in simple English, so you can practice listening and feel something at the same time. Subscribe now and never miss a new story. And I have a question for you. Leave your answer in the comments below. Have you ever helped a stranger or been helped by one? What happened? How did it feel? Tell me your story. I read every comment. I would love to hear from you. And before I go next time on this channel, a story about a promise made a long time ago. A promise one person kept and one person forgot. What happens when they meet again? You will not want to miss it. Thank you for watching today. Thank you for listening. Thank you for staying until the end. You are not just learning English. You are practicing something bigger. You are practicing attention, patience, empathy. Keep going, one story at a time. See you in the next one.